Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, as you can tell, we have a full house. Coach Barikoff, I have it on good authority, is in that ornery Dodgers mood tonight, right? Austin Brubaker's got the Great Lakes hat. He's sporting that tonight. The Dodgers are getting ready to kick the Padres' ass, and we are all in a really good mood right now, Coach, right?
Listen, I want to first start off with this. I'm wearing Warren High School football. This is my buddy Poochie, diehard Dodger fan. SoCal, they got a big game with Mayfair tonight. I'm repping it for him. Let's go, Dodgers. Poochie, my man from Compton, my dude, my brother from another mother. I love you, brother. Go Warren. Okay, anyways, all right, back to Dodger baseball.
Hey, we already have a great crowd logging in, Coach Moose. Thank you so much for joining. It's our time. Let's go. Daniel Berry Sports Highlight has logged in, and so has one Mr. Austin Brubaker. I hated it for your Tigers yesterday, Austin. Tough. Hey, it was great to see Zach McKinstry hit a big home run in that game, but they couldn't quite pull it through, could they?
It was a tough night yesterday for the Tigers. It will not be a tough night tonight for the Dodgers. They're going to be in an absolute war with the San Diego Padres, and I'm hoping for a better mood coming out of the game tonight than what was after the game last night as well. I'm all focused. I'm all ready for this Dodgers-Padres game. This is meaningful baseball, man. We talk about the games that actually matter. You talk about a rivalry game, getting it back to Dodger Stadium, having all the storylines that are part of this game. I mean, this is what we live for in the game of baseball. Dodgers versus Padres. It's just a tremendous matchup between two really good, really solid teams that both have an incredible chance to win the World Series. One of those two teams is going to be extremely disappointed. I like the Dodgers' shots tonight. I think they have a good plan going into tonight's game, and I think they have an extra amount of motivation because of what has happened the past couple of years. I couldn't be more excited about tonight. Tonight's going to be a lot of fun. Could be a really good night, joyous celebration, or it could be another heartbreaking night. It's nervous. It brings all of the emotion about the game of baseball, but this is why we love this game.
It sure does. Coach, Dave Roberts did not mince words. I mean, he put it right on Yamamoto's shoulders as if Yamamoto's a grown man, right? Hey, we didn't sign this dude for 10 years or however long it is for making one of the richest pitchers in the history of the game. We didn't do that to throw a damn bullpen game in Game 5 against the Padres. We did that to have him go out there and shove and win this game for us. He put it on Yamamoto's shoulders, Coach.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, listen, the dude's getting paid a lot of money for this game tonight, and this is what they brought him here for. And if we go back to when he pitched against the Yankees earlier in the year in a meaningful game, and whatever it was early on, dude was rock solid. And I've got this weird feeling in my gut. Our sports information director, Casey Austin, asked me today, he goes, do you wish you were in California? You wish you were back home? And I said, man, all I could think about is when 1988 in my neighborhood went out and went crazy and high-fived and fireworks went off. So, yeah, I wish I was home for this, but you know what? I'm living vicariously through all my boys back home. Yamamoto's going to be a stud tonight. My man, Kike's going to get it done. Guys, this is what we live for Dodger baseball, right here. And I'll tell you what, no matter what, I love my boys. I love Dodger baseball. And I'm so excited that we get a chance to have a meaningful game now. Austin, I'm gonna argue with you a little bit here.
Oh, good. Here we go, baby. Here we go. Batter up.
I've been a fan for 50 years of the Dodgers. There's one rival to me, and that's San Francisco, not these chumps from San Diego.
Oh.
All right, but I like where you're going because you're the younger generation. I love it. I respect it. But us old dudes, I don't know. It's just not the same. But I get it. Padres are a doggone good baseball team, Austin, and I know that's what you're talking about. And they've got they're just phenomenal. Like, they're a really good baseball team, and it kills me to say that. But, yeah, what an exciting night. I'm so fired up, fellas. I just cannot wait.
I have not been able to think all night, Austin. Got any pushback on that? It's going to get rowdy tonight. You're the youngest one, so you're probably going to be taking the most amount of ass whoopings tonight. You're just going to have to deal with that, right, Austin?
Yeah, I will take as much of that, and I will deal all of that, too, as we go throughout the night and talk through that. Totally agree. Dodgers
We're a little bit
versus
honored tonight,
Giants
Austin.
is the rivalry. That is the historic rivalry. Right now, in this moment, it is Dodgers-Padres. Those are the two teams that are competitive. The Giants didn't make it to the playoffs. They've been struggling the past couple of years, dating back to 2021 after that great season that they have had. Both two incredible teams. The storylines in there could not be written any further. And it's a chance for Yoshinobu Yamamoto to get some revenge against this San Diego Padres team, which he has struggled against this Padres team. There's no way around it. He's going to have to perform a lot better, because I think one of the keys to this game and the keys for this Dodgers team is to get off to those really good starts. If Yoshinobu Yamamoto goes out there and struggles in the first inning, if I was Dave Roberts, I'd have the quickest hook out there, because I know how many talented pitchers there are on this team. I know that Jack Flaherty is going to be available during the game today, and I know all of the different bullpen arms. When it's an elimination game, and right now you can't even think for 1 second about what would happen on Saturday or Sunday. You can't think about that for 1 second. You have everything has to go into this one game, which means all options are on the table, which means if you see the slightest sign of there being any sort of trouble, you got to come up with a plan B. So Yoshinobu Yamamoto, I believe in him. The Dodgers paid him for a reason, and he's going to have to perform in these types of games if the Dodgers are going to want to win the World Series this year. And this is going to be some good experience, because he's going to be an anchor for the staff for the next decade to come. It's going to be a big night for him. It's going to be interesting to see how he's able to respond and what sort of adjustments that he has against the San Diego Padres lineup. So far, the adjustments haven't been working too great, but I believe in Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I believe in the talent, and clearly, with the money that the Dodgers paid and invested in him, they believe in this talent as well.
No doubt. Coach, what the hell are you doing wearing a San Diego Padres shirt?
This is Warren High School, baby.
Okay.
This is
I just saw the yellow. Okay.
This is Downey. This is representing Downey, baby. Come on now. It's for my man Poochie out there. He's got a big game against Mayfair tonight.
Sorry, my bad. I just saw the yellow and the gold and brown. I thought it was a Padres shirt.
I'm repping. No. He's got a game at 7 o'clock tonight against Mayfair. I think that's a big rivalry game. Come on, you SoCal people out there know this. Let's
go, baby. Let's go. If you can't tell, we're pretty keyed up. This is how our competitive juices are flowing right now, Coach Barrett-Goff and I. So we're probably going to be pretty annoying. You're just going to have to deal with it. It might be entertaining too. Who knows? Hey, Coach, here is one of the biggest concerns I have tonight. And no doubt about it that Yu Darvish, he's been good against the Dodgers. He's had an axe to grind against the Dodgers ever since 2017. He probably didn't feel really welcome or appreciated as a Dodger, right? And so it's kind of been like a revenge tour for him every time he's thrown against them. That's number one. But number two, also, Yamamoto grew up with Darvish being his idol, right? Or at least one of his idols. Are you worried about any kind of intimidation factor from that perspective?
You know, fellas, I'm right in the middle of basketball season. We open up on the 24th in a scrimmage, so I'm in basketball mode in terms of this. But I saw, and I wish I wrote it down because I like to be a little bit more prepared. But I saw the stats on Darvish after 4 days rest, and they don't look good. Okay, now here's what I like about this. This is his idol. I like the younger guy because, the younger guy always wants to beat the older guy. And there comes a time where that younger guy finally takes the mantle from the older guy. And tonight's the night. Yu Darvish is going to remember that Game 7 when he let us all down. And I walked out, and I had tears in my eyes after Darvish lasted a couple innings. What was that against whatever year that was? I don't even remember what year. It doesn't matter. Yamamoto tonight is going to show he is the next guy, and he's going to show it tonight. I just have such a good feeling about this tonight. And if he can put together 2 scoreless innings in a row and shut those dudes down, oh, my gosh, my tequila's going to be flowing tonight. That's what I'm going to say.
Austin, it's all about getting off to a good start for Yamamoto. That's been a key for him. He throws so many different pitches. They're field pitches. So sometimes it takes him a minute to get the feel of what's working that night. Are you worried about that, Austin?
A little bit, only because I think it's essential for this Dodgers team not to build themselves into a hole early, to get this crowd just amped up and motivated throughout this entire game. I think when you go down 3-0 early and you're in that hole, especially for this Dodgers team that has seen themselves be eliminated from the playoffs early the past couple of seasons, that's going to just reinforce that, hey, maybe we're not going to move up a little bit. Maybe things are not turning out so good. I think getting out to a hot start is absolutely essential. And for Yoshinobu Yamamoto to be able to figure out what pitches work to be able to avoid the mistake to Fernando Tatis Jr., who has just been unreal throughout this entire season. He's going to have to make those adjustments. The game plan has to be he's got to be able to execute what the game plan is going into tonight's game. I'm curious to see how long they decide to keep him, because in an elimination game, he doesn't necessarily have to go through this order.
Offense is going to dictate that.
I think it's going to dictate that. The offense could, or it could be one of those things. I mean, we're seeing it throughout baseball, the different strategies that teams are implementing, as far as the more times that hitters see a pitcher, the better they're going to do. What's one of these ways to eliminate that? Don't have them go up against hitters multiple times. I'm not anticipating that for Yoshinobu Yamamoto technically, but I wouldn't be surprised if everything is on the table and the Dodgers decide to go all out with all the amazing weapons that they have. To go back to Coach Barakoff's point, this was actually tweeted out by D-Mac. As far as Yu Darvish this season on 4 days rest, which he had 4 starts, 6.43 ERA, 905 OPS against. So that is something to keep in mind with Yu Darvish. Very limited sample size. Absolutely keep that in mind with that. But there could be opportunities for Yu Darvish going forward. And it's going to be interesting to see how he does, how Shohei Ohtani and how all these guys go, especially Japanese guys, go up against Yu Darvish, who has a very clear legacy game against this, and how they handle that star-studded power. I remember kind of just thinking back to some of my older days. My favorite player growing up was Placido Polanco. Favorite baseball player, as part of that 2006 Detroit Tigers team. And I remember there was a moment where, because Placido Polanco, I believe last time I saw, was working for the Dodgers organization. He was like a traveling coach going around to different places and stuff. And I remember there was one time that he was in the dugout for a Loons game that I was at. And it was one of those things where, okay, here's my hero, star-studded guy. This is the opportunity that I get to be able to interact with the childhood hero that I had growing up. And I remember going up to him and saying, hey, you want to do the funky feather? Because the Loons were scoring a whole bunch of runs. He said, nope, and walked to the other end of the dugout, never come over by me again. I hope for Shohei Ohtani and I hope for Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the guys who looked up to Yu Darvish, that they don't swing and miss like I did with Placido Polanco, with their childhood hero. I'm hoping for a little bit more success with that.
Yeah, I think you hit a word that's interesting there. You said legacy. Coach Barakoff, this feels definitely like a legacy game for Yamamoto. Hey, he took all this money, the length of time that the contract is, and all of that. Then he's going up against his idol, that kind of thing. So the legacy, of living up to exactly why we signed you for that contract. You have that part of the legacy, and then also the legacy against Yu Darvish. So it does feel like a legacy game, at least for right now, for Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani. Maybe it's not quite the legacy game for Yu Darvish because he's a little bit more established in this situation.
You brought up a good point. Shohei, I think this is the time he needs to step up. I mean, he's either going to be, he's got to be Jordan, LeBron, Magic. This is going to put him in Los Angeles lore, right?
Yes.
I mean, Kurt Gibson, Oral Hershiser. I'm going to say it because he's not, Franklin Stubbs. No one else cares, but I do. You talked about your idol there, Austin. I waved to him when he was the batting coach at Oklahoma City, and he just kind of waved me off. That was my all-time idol. He's one of the greatest Dodgers to ever walk the face of the earth. Look his stats up; you'll be blown away. You're right, Casey. This is a big moment, and it's crazy to say. One, I'm disappointed that the Dodgers have to play the Padres in a 5-game series. This should be a 7-game series. And as much as I don't like San Diego, I think both organizations needed a 7-game series. This is worth for baseball. I love the cockiness of the Padres. I'm kind of going off topic here, but this is good for baseball. I love what it's doing for baseball. People are excited about this series because of the Padres are like a younger generation. The Dodgers are more buttoned up. And this is a great thing for baseball that we're seeing right now. It's great. You got Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado. You got the center fielder, Merrill. There's a lot of good stuff for baseball as a baseball purist, as I think the three of us are. This is good. Now, Yamamoto's going to show it tonight. I think this is he's been in a big situation. He already got his nerves out in the last game. He got all that out. If he's tipping pitches, the last time, Casey, you and I talked about it, the last time he tipped pitches, he fixed it and came back better. I just have a good feeling about tonight. There's something about it tonight. I think the Dodger fans saw the way San Diego fans were acting and how loud they were and how into it. I think the Dodger fans, it's going to be something different tonight, and I'm so excited. I mean, it's 5:13, 3 o'clock in LA right now, so it's almost getting there, man. Austin, I see that smile. You're ready too. Let's go. Come on, fellas.
Yes. Austin, if I were to say, that's fun. We're having a lot of exciting times here. We are pumped. We're ready to go. We're all getting in the mental state of being a super fan, right, though? But let's get back to a little bit of analysis. Let me ask you this. You'll do a great job with this. If I were to say, from an analytical perspective, the Padres are one of the best teams at not swinging at pitches out of the strike zone. In my opinion, Yamamoto, to beat the great bat-to-ball skills of the Padres, he has to get some chase because I don't think his in-zone stuff is good enough to consistently beat the bats of the Padres. What would you say to that, Austin?
I would say I think that's probably correct, and I think that's what makes Yamamoto versus the Padres a very difficult matchup for Yamamoto. This Padres team, one of the things that they do best is they put the ball in play. They strike out less than any team in the game of baseball on the hitting side during the course of this season. They put up the highest batting average during that because they put the ball in play as much as they possibly do. And what we've seen is they've been able to launch the ball as well. When you combine the contact ability, when you combine the less amount of strikeouts, and you combine power to that makes for a really dangerous offense. And I think for Yamamoto, look, he's going to have to get some weak contact in this zone. You're not going to be able to get this Padres team to be able to chase and swing and miss at every single thing. That's going to be a little bit more difficult for Yamamoto to be able to navigate. You got to hope that some of these Padres hitters, you're able to get up in counts and allow them to be able to swing and miss a little bit. But he's going to have to get some weak contact, and then you're going to have to hope for some batted ball luck, which is a little bit scary.
I agree with that. Batted ball luck. Good way to put it, Austin.
I think that is something that you're going to have to, at the end of the day, rely on, which means that this defense has to play better for this Dodgers team. It's the reason why they lost Game 3.
Austin, I want to interrupt you. Yeah. You think that's why they went with Yamamoto more than Jack Flaherty? Because I think Yamamoto would be better. Flattery just that curveball. If the curveball's not there, I think Yamamoto's got more to go to. Am I wrong on saying that?
Great point, Coach.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point and something that I really hadn't thought of before. It could be something that they could take advantage of. I also would not be surprised. Just like I don't think anybody would be surprised if Flaherty is utilized. Every single pitcher on this pitching staff is going to be ready to go for this Dodgers team. There is no tomorrow if you don't win this game, and it's a crossroad game for this team, for these organizations, both teams. I mean, you talked earlier in the show about legacy, and this is a legacy game for so many different parties in here. Let's talk about the Padres side before. Let's talk about Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish had his biggest failure in his major league career on the field he'll be pitching at in an elimination game. He didn't step up to the task against the 2017 Houston Astros, and the Dodgers lost the World Series because of that. You don't think that he wants to go into Dodger Stadium and get redemption for that? Same thing for this San Diego Padres team that has never won a World Series, with this group that is growing up together, that feels like they are as hot as any team in baseball, going up against what they consider their rival. Do you not think that they want to clinch it on their hometown field? Bring it over to the Dodger side. Dave Roberts, we talked about this quite a bit. This is a legacy game for him because if he can get over this hurdle, he is going to be this Dodgers manager for a long time. And you talk about his winning percentage. Already right now, it stacks up. I'm talking about winning percentage, not number of wins, towards the top of all managers of all time. Now, you can credit that to the type of talent that he has had, but that gets rewarded, especially if that is accompanied by multiple World Series. This is a legacy game for Dave Roberts. This is a legacy game because this is the biggest game of Shohei Ohtani's career that he has. It's a legacy game for a lot of these Dodgers who have a more veteran player-led team, which means each year you're getting older. That window starts to tighten a little bit, especially if you don't supplement that with a lot of the younger talent that you do have. This is a crossroads game for both of these organizations, and only one of them is going to be able to continue on going. That's what makes this so fascinating tonight, is those storylines.
Yeah, and Casey and Austin, let me give you a perspective from a guy born and raised from Los Angeles. The Padres to us Los Angeles, us Angelinos, they're the Clippers. And you got to grow up in Los Angeles.
The Clippers have been good.
yeah, but you got to understand, as an Angelino, as a Los Angeles person, as a Dodger fan, Padres remind us of the Clippers. Yeah, they're really good, but they never take that next step. And the Dodgers, to me, are like the Lakers. Lakers are the team in Los Angeles. The Dodgers are the team in Los Angeles. Austin, you're right. There is a lot on the line for the Padres and the Padres organization because they are constantly trying to be the Dodgers. And they can say whatever they want. The Padres want to be where the Dodgers are and have that history. They don't have that history. That's why for us LA people, I look at the Padres as the Clippers. Yeah, the Clippers are good, but what have they done? What have the Padres done? You're right. The legacy game for the Padres, let's not think the Padres are going into this thinking there's no pressure on them. I would say the Padres are the favorite. The way they ended the season, they're the favorite in there. There's a lot of pressure on the Padres.
That's a great point, Coach. We always think of all the pressure on the Dodgers, but let's not forget, you saw the bubble burst for the Padres the other night too. Really hard, right?
Listen, yeah. And Austin, you said it incredible. There is a lot riding for the Padres just as much as there are for the Dodgers. And I think a lot of people want to forget that about the Padres. The Padres are clawing to try to get to where the Dodgers have been. What I would like to see from the Dodgers is I want to see the fight of, like, let's protect Chavez Ravine tonight. Let's do this for Los Angeles. Let's do that for the history. Man, I tweeted out about a Tommy Lasorda quote, play for the name on the front, not the name on the back. Tommy Lasorda, he said, play like a champion. Play like a champion tonight, Dodgers. I want to see that tonight. So I'm trying to wrap up everything Austin said, Casey. He was spectacular with what he said. And yes, I'm fired up, but Dodgers need to play for Los Angeles tonight, not the name on the back of their jersey.
And here's something that I'll add on to this, and this is something that you got to see throughout the course of this series, and this applies both to the Padres and to the Dodgers. Going into this series, and especially after the first couple of games, what was a lot of the conversation on? It was on Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
It was on his cold streak during the postseason, and it was how he couldn't get ahead. He was going 0 for 20 during his last postseason at bat. What does it take for Mookie Betts to get hot and for him to start being able to break through and to where he's starting to perform really well during this postseason? It took one swing of the bat. Similarly for this Padres and for this Dodgers team. One, for the Padres, for them to start establishing more credibility in Major League Baseball, establishing more credibility as a baseball organization that doesn't just have a ton of talent on their team, but also has championships behind them. It just takes one in order to get that ball rolling. Similarly for this Dodgers team. This Dodgers team that, with this core, seems to be struggling to try to get over that hump. Once they get over that hump, things can start rolling, and especially with the amount of talent that the Dodgers have as well, they can start rolling and start turning this into National League Championship Series and World Series berths and World Series championships as well. This is a huge game for both clubs, who I don't think are going anywhere in the National League over the next couple of years. However, the confidence and the outlook for both organizations going forward could be impacted by the one game tonight.
Coach, this is from Show in our chat. This is good stuff right here. I'm going to ask you to put your coach's cap on. Yamamoto has a 13.50 ERA against the Padres this year. He's been right around 2.5, so maybe a little bit lower than 2.5 against all the other teams. So he has been terrible against the Padres, elite against everybody else. So the analytics would say keep them away from the Padres. Throw them game one against the Mets or whoever it may be. Throw Flaherty or a bullpen game. That's what the analytics would tell you. It's a weird time for the Dodgers just to say, to hell with the analytics. We're throwing Yamamoto tonight, right? How do you take that?
That's a great talk because we always want to shred the Dodgers for the analytics, right?
Yes.
They follow it too much. I think you said as a coach, I love analytics. I'm going to analytics the last 2 years with my own program, but there comes a time where you got to have a feel. Yes, the ERA is very high. I get all that. The Dodgers have a feel that this guy is ready. And sometimes forget the analytics. I like that the Dodgers are going with their gut. Maybe they're going with their gut. Dodgers know more than we know. Us three think we know a lot, but the Dodgers know more than we know. Like, I think people forget that. I think there's a lot of very good social media managers out there that when those guys step into the dugout are going to fall apart. And I'm going to say that, and I mean they don't know what it's like to manage a baseball game in front of 56,000 people. But I like that they're going against the analytics tonight.
That are present there, and then another billion that are watching.
Yeah, Casey, Austin, I think Dave is going to go with his heart tonight. And if he doesn't like what he sees, I think Dave is going to manager like a manager on fire tonight. And I think he's going to let it all out. I think, Austin, you said it's all hands on deck, right? I think the Dodgers have a plan. But I like that they're going with a guy that they have a gut feeling about and that they feel could rise to the occasion. I like that from a coach's perspective. I always want to ride with the guys that I've got a good gut feeling with.
Yeah, so speaking on the topic of analytics, because this is, I'm a statistician. That is my day job. That's what I do, and I love analytics. Analytics are exceptionally important and are essential to the game of baseball and have led to the growing knowledge of the game of baseball as well. When we talk about analytics, all analytics are trying to do, one, they're analyzing how a player has done, and then there's that next step of predicting how an individual will do going forward. Analytics are a great tool. You talk about Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He has a 13.5 ERA against the Padres this year. Certainly, that is not really good against the Padres, and that is something that he has expressed during the past. It is about how do you predict going forward how Yamamoto is gonna do. What do you think he's going to do tonight? That is going to be important. It doesn't matter anymore what he's done before against the Padres. If you believe that he's going to be the best option that you have, keep it into account everything that we don't know, as well as the different analytics. Go with what you believe is going to help you during the game tonight, and use analytics as a tool. Get all the information that you can have, which I know the Dodgers have about as much, if not more, information than any team in the game of baseball. Play smart, see what's going on out there, and go with the guy that you believe gives you the best shot to win.
All these teams have the exact same information. They have the same iPads. They use the same programs, the same software, just like even at the NAIA basketball level. You guys all have access to the same statistical programs. Now, you may have a few more people than other teams or whatever, but it's the way that the Dodgers actually choose to apply the information, right? I mean, you can have all these wonderful statistics, but you know as well as I do, Coach, when it takes somebody to go in after the game, actually analyze those statistics, not just analyze the statistics, but actually make sense out of them. Like how does this make sense to where what's good is good and what's bad is bad? And I think that's where the Dodgers beat everybody else.
Yeah, and what analytics doesn't show you is real-time, real performances. Like, analytics are phenomenal. I hired a guy named Devin. He's my analytics guy on my staff. I spent a lot of money with Synergy buying their analytics program where we spit out a lot of numbers. But what doesn't happen is, in a basketball reference, is when a 25% three-point shooter steps up against you and all of a sudden he hits 3 for 4. That's what analytics doesn't show you, and that's what I'm hoping the Dodgers are reading tonight. I'm with you, Austin. I love analytics. I love the numbers. I'm terrible at math, but that's why I have a guy that tells me what to do, how to read it. But I love that the Dodgers went against the grain a little bit, because all we ever hear about Dodger fans, too analytical. Dave's too analytical. Dave's too analytical. Well, now Dave went against the analytics. So now are we going to go against Dave because he went against the analytics? It's a no-win situation when you're a Dodger manager, but I think what they looked at tonight was this was the right guy to go. This was the guy that they trust. This is the guy they paid a lot of money for. This is what the analytics said way back in the day, that this is the guy that was going to be ready for this situation. And listen, I am the most positive Dodger fan in the world. Whatever happens tonight, I will wake up tomorrow still bleeding Dodger blue and still supporting my guys, as I know you two will, and the rest of the people probably on this chat listening. I love that Dave is going against the analytics, Casey and Austin.
I do too, Austin. And if I were to say, hey, we'll move to the offense here in a minute, but we mentioned Yamamoto. Is his end zone stuff going to be good enough to beat the Padres? Can the Padres lay off of that splitter that breaks out of the zone and only swing at the pitches that are in the zone? That's the key to beating Yamamoto. That's why the Padres are able to get to him, because they make him throw strikes, and then his pitches that are strikes are very hittable. So if I were to say to you, Darvish's end zone stuff can beat the Dodgers' bats way better than Yamamoto's end zone stuff can beat the Padres' bats, where am I wrong there?
I think Yu Darvish is able to throw a lot of strikes right now. I think he's polished at the major league level. He knows how to get major league hitters out, because I think he's had a lot more experience than Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Both insanely talented, have great arm talents as well. Yu Darvish has a little bit of that experience, and he knows how to work around and be able to generate some of that weak contact and get some of the hitters to make some foolish swings. I expect the best out of Yu Darvish today, because he is a really good pitcher, which means that for the Dodgers and their pitching staff, they're going to have to be ready, and they're going to have to be able to perform and match with what the Padres pitchers are going to be able to do. They're going to have to go out there and perform really, really well tonight. I love the confidence that you guys have in Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I'm confident because the Dodgers feel that is the best decision. I'm not
as confident. I'm not going to lie. I hope I'm wrong.
Yes. What I will say to that is I would have somebody just
make
about
me feel
ready
better, Austin. Make
about,
me feel better. Come on, man.
Well, here's the thing: is I would have just about somebody ready at almost every single instant throughout the course of this game. Could be because I'm a little bit nervous about this, but we have also seen the effectiveness of going to a lot of these relievers, not just for this Dodgers team, but you look around the sport, the relief pitchers, and seeing different matchups for these guys is really effective, and it's revolutionizing the way that teams approach a lot of these games, especially with some of the smaller market teams. I would be quick to react to anything that happens in the game.
That's my point. Very quick hook with Yamamoto, if anything. That's kind of why I'm giving you this narrative. And also I'm giving you that narrative to throw this back to you, Coach. You know, the Dodgers are great with this. They'll take a guy in the – well, we saw this with Edgardo Henriquez, okay, and maybe an Alex Freeland, something like that. They'll take a guy – they will not care if the guy's struggling in the minor leagues. They did it with Bobby Miller. They did it with Walker Buehler. They don't care if they're – matter of fact, they think that if they are struggling, say, at AAA – the best thing for them might be to send them to the major league level, because then being around all those all-star type guys and in that major league environment actually will bring out a more competitive version of that person. So let's put that on steroids. So Yamamoto struggled against the Padres. It's one thing in the regular season. I think another thing they're banking on, though, is that this type of huge stage is going to raise Yamamoto's level that much further.
Agree, and I think that's what I've been trying to say the whole time.
Yeah.
I think this is throw out the numbers, man. I know you guys want to see a quick hook. I think that's what's going to happen. I think the Dodgers bullpen, we've talked about it a lot throughout the season, has been the most overused bullpen in baseball. But now that they have not been severely overused, they're the best bullpen. Like, we talk about the Padres, throw out the numbers for me with the Padres and Dodgers bullpens.
Yeah.
Dodgers bullpen is ready to go tonight. I mean, Brazier went the first. He's had a lot of rest. I think you could go back to that recipe. Austin said it. Jack could be available tonight. I don't know, Case. I mean, you and Austin are saying it great. I just have this feeling about the Dodgers tonight. My only worry, and I know you said you wanted to talk about the hitting, is that the Dodgers are going to try to win it on one swing.
Yeah,
that to me is my biggest worry as a Dodgers fan. Yeah. We could sit here and analyze everything. The Dodgers need to pass the baton and make this a very uncomfortable game for Yu Darvish. And when they do that, the Dodgers are unbeatable. When they start swinging off their heels for the fences like Muncy seems to be doing every single at bat, because I think he cares so much, it's pass this baton, get runners on, move them over, get a run, 2 runs here, make the Padres under pressure a little bit. And I think that's when the Dodgers are at their best. And I think that'll settle down Yamamoto if we get a couple of runs. And I like that. That's just my take on it. I don't want to see the Dodgers try to win this in the first inning. You can't win this thing in the first inning. It's the second, third, fourth, and fifth innings. You can
lose it in the first inning,
right? Well, yeah. I mean, let's get 9 runs in the first. That'd feel really good. But that's just my take on it.
Yeah. Hey, Austin, too. You know, kind of like whenever you're playing a division rival, it's almost like you're playing 2 games at one, because you're adding a win and then they're adding a loss, right? So it's the equivalent of you beating somebody and them losing. So it's almost like a 2-game swing there. So the Padres kind of had that in the free agency market. Give them a lot of credit. They went and got Luis Ariz in May, a guy that I really do think that they went and got Tommy Edman. Why'd they get Tommy Edman? Because he's got good bat-to-ball skills. Yes, he can play center field and all that. But I do think Luis Ariz would have been a guy because of his bat-to-ball skills. I mean, heck, he was the batting champion this year, right? I think he's a guy the Dodgers definitely would have targeted. And then also, we've been talking since the last offseason about Tanner Scott. So not only do the Padres get the hitting champion and maybe the best left-handed high leverage reliever, Alex Vesia comes in the 6th inning, right? We're talking about high leverage like 8th and 9th inning in Tanner Scott too. They got 2 great players. But then they also kept those 2 players away from the Dodgers. Credit to A.J. Preller for that, right?
You got to give them credit for the way that they've built this team. They have been relentless. They're also not afraid to trade guys and go after the guys that they believe will help them win a World Series. And that's exactly what they did. They overpaid for a guy like a Tanner Scott for what most other teams were willing to pay. No other team was willing to pay what the Padres were able to give up, but that gave them a leg up, and that gave them a weapon to go up against a lot of these left-handed hitters against this Dodgers team. And I think something that Coach Bearcroft had said, it absolutely resonates. It has to be an unselfish approach for this Dodgers lineup tonight, and not everybody can be the hero for this Dodgers team. You don't go out there expecting to be, I'm the one who saved the Dodgers season going forward. If you go out there with that attitude, you're going to swing and miss with this Padres pitching staff, which does generate a lot of swing and miss, which does have, especially in the bullpen, a lot of high velo, or you're going to roll over a lot of ground balls from a Yu Darvish. It has to be unselfish. It has to be very disciplined. But with Yu Darvish, he doesn't give up a lot of walks, so it has to be one of those things where you're going to have to take smart swings, where you're going to have to work the count, and then you're going to have to get some of those base hits up the middle, opposite field base hits, those sort of fundamental type of things. There's going to be opportunities that Yu Darvish is going to be able to present to you. That, I believe, is the type of game that they're going to have. Every single at-bat is going to be meaningful. Do something to help your team get closer to 1 run, and then closer to 2 runs.
Good point.
And
Good
get closer to that, and pass the baton off to the next guy. Because there is, we talk about this Dodgers lineup, there is an insane amount of talent within this Dodgers lineup. They're as talented as any lineup in the game of baseball, up and down the top of the lineup. Trust your guys behind you to be able to do it. If there is the opportunity to do so, hit the ball hard, hit the ball far, but be smart about how you go ahead and approach this. I think that's going to be an interesting challenge for this Dodgers team, because I wouldn't anticipate with a Yu Darvish start for them to be getting a lot of free base runners and then opportunities for a cookie right down the middle to be able to put a crooked number on the scoreboard. I think it's going to have to be perhaps a little bit more old school, fundamental baseball type style during the game that they're going to have to take. Be unselfish, play, as you said, the name on the front of the jersey, not on the name on the back tonight.
Coach, one last deal before we move completely onto the offense, but the Padres squarely went and got Tanner Scott to get Shohei Ohtani out.
Yep.
Period, in a discussion. And then maybe a Max Muncy too. But when they went and got him, they got him because of the matchup we saw the other night in Game 3. 8th inning, whatever it may be, we want Tanner Scott against Shohei Ohtani. Tanner Scott won round 1. What's going to happen in round 2 tonight?
Well, I mean, the numbers are going to play out, I think, for Shohei, right? I mean, what is he, 1 for 12 or something right now against Scott?
Yeah.
The numbers, they talk about it all the time on the broadcast. When you see somebody 3-4 times now in the playoffs, the averages go up, and I think Shohei is now ready. There's something different about tonight for me. I can't wait to turn the TV on to see what Chavez Ravine looks like tonight. But I like Shohei tonight. There's something. I think Shohei has been waiting for this moment his whole life, and I think this is the day. This is the night he's going to do it. And Scott, if I'm Scott, I'm more nervous about facing Shohei than Shohei is about facing him. Let's not kid ourselves. That's the way I look at it from a coaching perspective, and I like the favor of what the Dodgers have tonight. So I think there's going to be something good tonight from Shohei.
Yeah, offensively, this is the way I describe the Dodgers. They need the top 3 guys to be dudes, right? And then they need one of their middle 3 guys to hit a home run, whether that be Max Muncy, Will Smith, or Teo Hernandez. And then they need the bottom of the lineup to execute. Would that be a good way to put how this Dodgers offense has to operate, Austin?
I think that's exactly right. You pay the guys at the top of the lineup to be able to perform when the lights shine the most. And I think something that you had mentioned, Tanner Scott will face off against Shohei Ohtani
Yes, he
tonight.
will. Yeah, I can't wait.
It would be stupid for the Padres not to have Tanner Scott face Shohei Ohtani because of what he has been able to do. He has had Shohei Ohtani's number to this point of the season. But as we've seen, even during this postseason, like what happened to Emmanuel Clase during Game 2 of the Tigers game, where he had only given up 5 earned runs the entire season, gives up a home run to a left-handed hitter, gives up 3 earned runs during that appearance. Things can change on a dime for this, and with Shohei Ohtani, best player in the game of baseball, he can find a way to be able to adapt and attack a Tanner Scott. That's going to be a fascinating matchup that will happen at some point. I think the way that you broke down the lineup is absolutely correct. For the 4, 5, and 6 hitters, don't just be swinging for the fences every single time. Go out there and execute and be smart about how you approach it. Be great if they get some home runs, but if you continue to extend this lineup even further, have this Padres go through this lineup 5 times, I think that's going to set up a lot of success for this Dodgers team. Play smart, fundamental baseball. And then for the bottom of the order, to set up the top of the order, I think that's going to be really important.
Sneaky part of this, when you evaluate a football team, you always talk about, hey, one team's offenses versus the other team's defense, the other team's defense versus the other team's offense. You always forget it might be those hidden yards, punt returns, kick returns, missed field goals, special teams plays like that. So I really think the Padres are catching Higashioka tonight. If the Dodgers, Austin, as you said, if they're bat-to-ball oriented, contact oriented, just gather base hits oriented, I think a base hit could be viewed almost the equivalent of a double, for the simple fact that I think Shohei Ohtani, Will Smith, Mookie Betts, maybe even Freddie Freeman, maybe even a Gavin Lux, definitely a Tommy Edman. The Dodgers have 6 or 7 guys that I think could steal Higashioka blind tonight.
We got to put pressure on him.
Yes.
I just don't want to see
get on base first to do that, though, right?
Yeah, and I just don't want to see the Dodgers act like, we're the Dodgers. I want to see the Dodgers play with some passion, the Dodgers need to put pressure on the Padres tonight. They cannot sit back and say, I hope we have that one explosive inning. The Dodgers, Austin, you guys, we keep talking about it, legacy games, but if the Dodgers just sit back, the Padres are going to take advantage of that. I think the Dodgers need to put pressure, swing at great pitches, pass the baton, steal bases, move guys over, and score runs. And I think that's going to be a big factor tonight. That's just Coach Barakoff's perspective. Don't take it. That's just me sitting here thinking that while I'm listening to you guys talk. That's going to be big tonight for me.
Yeah, and I think playing fundamental is going to be, I think it's going to be really important. And got to give credit to the Padres because despite the cockiness that they have shown, despite the we're going to play and mess with the crowd a little bit, they have played fundamentally sound for the most part in this series, especially during the games that they have won. I think they're going to be obviously playing with the crowd. They're going to be feeling it a little bit because I think that's what the Padres. That's just the attitude that the Padres have, and they're a fun bunch, and they want to go and feel the heat from this Dodgers crowd. use that to your advantage, because I think that a lot of these Padres hitters, you could perhaps see them looking for that home run to help change the game, to help quiet the crowd. Perhaps there is an avenue in there, because they're playing against this Dodgers crowd that they want to quiet quite a bit, that you can get some of those swings and misses from those big swings that Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to have, that Manny Machado is going to have. You might be able to be a little bit of avenue to get swing and miss there. And as you had mentioned, smart fundamental baseball means all aspects of the game. Higashiyoko's at the 27th percentile in caught stealings, above average according to StatCast. There is opportunities there to be able to take an extra base for a Shohei Ohtani, for a Tommy Edman, for some of these base runners for this Dodgers team. If you're able to steal a base or two and get that extra 90 feet, allows you, especially if you have the game plan to just go out there and execute and get some of those base hits, be able to drive in some of those additional runs as well. I think smart fundamental baseball, and perhaps using some of the Padres passion to kind of rub it into the Dodgers fans, be able to use that as a way to attack their perhaps over aggressiveness. I think the Padres are going to try to play disciplined. It's going to be interesting to see how both teams go out of the gate in this so essential game for both clubs.
Coach, put on your Dave Roberts hat here, and I know last time Will Smith mentioned they were playing miniature golf and doing all that, and you couldn't tell it's an elimination game. If you're Dave Roberts, though, I mean, I don't know that any speech would work, but from a routine perspective, how do you keep your – it's one thing to be on the road. I said it even in our pregame show last time. Sometimes being on the road actually helps in that environment, because you're like, guys, if you haven't noticed, we've got us and us only here to rely on. So we've got to galvanize and come together. So that kind of removes some nerves from time to time. Sometimes being at home can actually make you more uptight because you don't want to let everybody down. So if you're Dave Roberts, how do you get your guys to embrace that huge environment?
I think what's easy about it is I've been very fortunate to be in some big games, and we didn't change anything that we did. We kept the same routine, and I think Dave Roberts has been in enough baseball games. He's played in enough big games. This team's been in enough big games that I don't think they changed their routine. I mean, I saw the quote that they have up in their locker room, "The job's not finished," by Kobe Bryant. I think the Dodgers are very businesslike when it comes to preparation. I don't think anything changes. I think that's what makes the Dodgers special. And I think that's the advantage they have over San Diego. I think maybe the San Diego Padres are going to be so flying high, sky high. And you know, I think the Dodgers are going to at least be even keel on that sense of what you're talking about. I don't think Dave changes anything. They're too professional, the Dodgers, for them to try to do something crazy and have all these rah-rah speeches. I mean, the only guy I would say coming back that would need to give a speech is Tommy Lasorda, and he's not going to do that. So I don't think
there's anything. They can play it over the TV.
Yeah, I mean, I asked for they play that speech what Tommy gave to whatever that team was. I can't remember that team, but I think Dave. The one thing Dave is very good at, and I know there's a lot of people that want to argue with me about Dave Roberts, but I think he's really good at getting teams.
Yes.
Ready to step on the field.
In the right mindset. So I had never understood these people. I won't say names. I challenged them on social media, never responded to me, but that Dave doesn't get teams ready for the playoffs. I never understood that. I think Dave gets teams ready for the playoffs. I think the Dodgers are going to step on this field ready to go, locked in. That's my take on it. Austin, you're the analytical guy here, so take us through the numbers. I've told you my concerns with Yamamoto versus Darvish. I think we have to assume Darvish is going to bring his A game again tonight. Take us through the numbers. Take us through maybe some of the statistical matchups that you see from an analytical perspective that may favor the Dodgers.
Yeah, so this is a interesting question as far as where some of the advantages are for each one of these teams. I think it's going to come down to, with you, Darvish, just looking at his season that he's put forth so far this year. Because I like looking at the large sample size that a player has. 70th percentile and walk percentage. He's not going to give up a lot of walks, or at least that's what he has been able to throughout the course of this season. His stuff is still really solid, and he can move around all over the place. I think it's going to be an interesting challenge for this Dodgers team to be able to match with all of the different aspects that Yu Darvish is going to be able to present, and all the different zones that he's able to put it to. I still like this Dodgers team, and I think we complain a lot about this Dodgers team, about their they strike out a little bit too much, a little bit too boom or bust. There is some hitters in this lineup that are going to be putting the ball in play quite a bit and do it at an above average rate.
Right.
You do have the Max Muncy, you do have
But
the
they go
Teoscar
like 6 and
Hernandez.
7, 8 innings in a row and don't score. Like they score
Yes.
6 runs and then, but other teams do that too, right?
It is hard, and actually it's impossible to find baseball teams that don't go through that stretches, because
Right.
it turns out that hitting the baseball is extremely hard to do. This game is incredibly difficult, but you do have a lot of guys that do have the ability to put it in play. And I think what we saw from the game 4, I think, is something that really stood out and resonated for me, because I think if you looked, especially all over the place, social media, I think fans thought the season was over before Game 4 even started. I thought they said that's it. The exact
The
same thing's
vocal
going to happen as
minority
they
on
did 2
social
years
media,
ago,
yeah.
as it did 1 year ago. And I think it took a lot of heart and guts for this Dodgers team. We're going to put the numbers aside for just a second, because I love the character that this Dodger team showcased in a Game 4, in an elimination game for them, without Freddie Freeman, without a Miguel Rojas, that they were still able to go out there and execute. And from top to bottom, every single player that went out there and did their job. And when every single player goes out there and does their job and plays smart for this Dodgers team, there's nobody that can stop them. And I think that was a reminder to this Dodgers team that could have rolled over and to this Padres team and could have just given up that series and said, well, our pitching staff has been injured throughout the course of this season. We're probably not going to make it after we're down 2-1. Might as well give it up. I think the character and heart for this Dodgers team was 100% showcased, and that is not something that you can measure analytically as well. I think that is an X factor for this matchup going into the game tonight, as well as just going through some of the approach. I think being able to put the ball in play, and especially with some of the exit velos that this Dodgers team is going to be able to showcase. We'll see how this team and how the batted ball luck goes for this time around against Yu Darvish, because I think if you looked at his last matchup against Yu Darvish in Game 2, there are some balls that in a lot of other games would have been hits, would have been runs for this Dodgers team. They were not last time. Perhaps that luck gets turned around tonight.
Coach, and that's another thing, too. Yeah, so many times you end up getting beat by 15, and as a coach, you go, man, if we would just hit that shot when we were down 3 and brought it to within 1, it would have been a whole different game, but we just couldn't quite get over the hump, and then our bubble burst, and then the average fan's like, whatever, Coach, you lost by 15. So it's kind of weird how, like, 1 or 2 plays really can tip it to get to be out of hand. Like, for instance, if that Tommy Edman hit the other night, if that lands and the Dodgers score a couple runs, maybe even add onto that, score 3 or 4 runs from there, hell, instead of the Dodgers getting their ass kicked, they might have won the game. I mean, that's literally how big one play can be, right, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, Tommy Edman, that ball gets in there, this series might be over. We might be talking about the Mets right now. Mookie Betts gets robbed of a home run. Jackson Profar's playing like Gold Glove left field that I've never seen that dude play before. There have been like some hits that just like they're making plays. It's baseball. And if a few things go this way or that way, this series is over. It might have been a sweep. I mean, you can go into Game 3 into San Diego feeling a whole lot different, or San Diego's having to play with the backs against the wall to make it 2-1, and the Dodgers take care of business. But Austin, you're right. You know, I forgot all about how the Dodgers really hit you in the last game. There was some incredibly hard hit baseballs, and if those things drop, this thing goes a completely different way. And you're right, Casey. As a coach, you look at things differently. You know, a 15-point loss, but with 4 minutes to go, you're down 1. And a turnover here or a missed layup here, and
missed
then that's
free
the
throw,
game.
front end of the 1-on-1, that kind of deal, yeah.
Yeah, or, you know, football, you're down 3 and you have a 3rd and 1 and you get stuffed and you got a punt and they go down and score. I mean, it's like, it's that quick, and baseball's the same way. And I don't think the Dodgers are going to change their approach. I think they feel confident tonight. I think they're going to be great tonight. I just want to keep putting out positivity out there that this is going to be a good game, man.
No doubt. Hey,
Yeah.
You may be a little bit too young for this, Austin, but when I was a kid, Coach Barrakoff was a kid. We had these books to where you could choose, like, if you want this ending, go to that page. If you want this ending, go to that page. So, like, here you go. If Yamamoto, say, goes 5 innings tonight, and then you just kind of use all of your bullpen or your 18 bullpen arms for 1 inning apiece, you win the game. Jack Flaherty then starts game 1. Mm-hmm. That's like bling, 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 bling. Absolute best case scenario. Second best case scenario is Yamamoto goes however long you have to go. Flaherty pitches, also the bullpen pitches. You figure out how to deal with game 1 later because you just beat the Padres. Probably would be Walker Buehler in that scenario. Obviously, the worst case scenario is if Yamamoto just can't go at all and you lose. But the next scenario then would be that Yamamoto has a rough first outing. You tax your bullpen, and from that perspective, you come back and then win that game. So those are your different scenarios there. We're obviously hoping that you could win the game with Yamamoto, then Flaherty pitching game 1.
You know what? I do not care if this game goes 200 innings and everybody's throwing 200 pitches. If we win this game, it will be worth it, no matter how taxed this team goes into the potential next series that could happen. That's how important this game is, and I think all focus is directed on elimination game 5. All options are on the table for this team. It is interesting, based off this conversation that we've been having, the more that you watch this game, which I'm sure a lot of the people that are tuning in, which gotta give credit to the Dodgers Daily community. How amazing is this crowd that we're having? Everybody's excited about this Dodgers team. And I know that you all are tuning in because you love this game of baseball. The more that I have watched this game of baseball and the more that you do watch it, you realize that the inflection points aren't just the moments where the guy gets the base hit. It is every single pitch that matters in the game of baseball. And there is those small moments that can catapult you to having a lot of success or catapult you to getting back into games. Every single pitch matters, which means that the execution throughout, from pitch 1 to the very last pitch for this Dodgers team, is going to have to be important and is important to this game. Just fascinating game of baseball, how some of those small, just giving up one walk can turn into something.
With 2 outs, nobody on.
Can turn into something that is not good for you if you're pitching, or turn into a rally if you're an offense.
Yeah.
Coach, what are your keys to the game tonight?
Level-headed confidence. I just want to see Shohei be Shohei, Mookie be Mookie, Freddie be Freddie, Will be Will, Max be Max. Gavin's going to hit, and we all know Kike is the best player in baseball. Even if he goes 0 for 4, he still is. But I want to see the Dodgers embrace this crowd. I said it earlier. I always give you the perspective from a coaching perspective and a fan of 50 years.
That's what we
Play
want.
for the name on the front, not on the back. Play for the Dodgers. Play for Los Angeles. Play for Los Angeles. And when you do that, you're playing for all of us other Dodger fans that live all over the places across the world. I mean, it's special to be a Dodger fan. And it's like I get frustrated with all the negativity out there, as Dodger fans are, Casey and Austin. But I get it. They're fans. And it bothers me. It drives me nuts, but they're fans. And I know maybe Rojas was playing poker the night before. I don't know how true that was. But he said something that really struck to me. He said, we really want to win.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people don't think we want to win. Like, I've never understood seeing fans want to have a player do bad that's on your team. The Dodgers want to win, Dodger fans out there. And Austin, you're right. Casey, you're right. Our Dodgers Daily fans are awesome.
Amazing.
It's a safe place to come and talk Dodgers baseball and feel good about talking baseball. Mm-hmm. Regardless of what happens tonight, these dudes want to win. It's 3:56 right now in L.A. These dudes want to win.
Yeah.
They want to win. And I hope the fans understand that. And if things don't go right tonight, they still wanted to win. I just, as a coach and as a fan, I've never understood that from that. These dudes want to win, man. There's so much on the line for them, too. Yeah. Us fans have no say in this. We just have our opinions and our thoughts. Those dudes are living it. They're living it. Their reputations, their lives are on the line, man. Their contracts, the money. They want to win, and I hope Dodger fans understand that no matter what happens tonight. So that's my take.
Coach, you're going to have final words here in a minute. You're going to give us an inspirational speech as if you're going to win the NAIA championship, national championship. I want to hear that speech here in a second, but I'm going to send it back to Austin for one more analytical perspective here. So I know Coach said that he wants Dave to go with his gut. Dave went to the script last time. Here's where we're going against Sky, this matchup, and it worked perfectly. So if you're Dave and Yamamoto is shoving, how long do you keep throwing Yamamoto back out there before you say, enough's enough, I got to get on script, I got to use some analytics here, and get him out of here? I mean, we saw it we've seen this before where pitchers have been taken out of games where they were cruising because of analytics. How long does Dave go with Yamamoto if he is cruising?
If I am Dave Roberts, I'm not letting Yoshinobu Yamamoto go through an order 3 times. Because that top of the lineup, I believe is going to find
analytical.
A way to be. I am
Coach
going with
Barakoff's
analytics.
getting ready to cuss your ass out.
I am going with analytics right there. I believe in the guys in this bullpen that are going to be able to come through and execute. And I something that I've learned throughout the course of just watching the game of baseball and watching some other organizations, I want these A-team guys to go out and get Fernando Tatis and Manny Machado and those hitters out. I'm trying to figure out how do we limit the damage that those hitters are going to be able to do. If that means like they used a Michael Kopech in the 3rd inning, I'm not saying use him in the 3rd inning, but if it comes to a 5th inning type of situation and those hitters are coming up, I'm going to use my bullets because I believe that gives me the best opportunity to get those specific hitters out and trying to be able to navigate the game during that way. For this Dodgers team, obviously you have to give it a little bit of feel. I don't have exactly what's going on with Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the script. I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the analytics. That is just my personal preference because I believe that would work out more times than it would not. But with this Dodgers team, I think a lot of the word is execute and believe. I think if you have any sort of doubt, if you are part of this Dodgers clubhouse, I think that doubt could start creeping in to this team. I don't believe this team has any sort of doubt. I think their mindset is in a lot better place than it has been the past couple of postseasons, and I think they are extremely determined to go out there and win this game tonight. Like you had mentioned, this team desperately wants to win this series. They desperately want to put an end to the narrative that they can't win in the postseason, or that it's the regular season Dodgers and then the postseason Pirates or whatever for this Dodgers team where they're not able to execute during the postseason. Dodgers want to turn that around. They want to go out there and win. Be disciplined, be smart on the way that you go ahead and approach this. Find out a way to limit some of the damage that the Padres hitters are going to go out there. And, I mean, let's just put it out there. Based on the way these games have played out, there's going to be a lot of runs in this game tonight. There's going to be some runs that are going to be scored, and this Dodgers team is going to have to be able to execute and score runs. I believe in this Dodgers team. No matter what happens tonight, I'll believe in these players. I believe in the players within this organization. I believe in this culture that this Dodgers team has created. I'm super excited about the game tonight. This is what you live for in the game of baseball, is Game 7 between two teams that are heated, that are hungry, that desperately want to win, and what could decide the team that represents the National League in the World Series, or at least a spot in the National League Championship Series. Nothing better than this. I hope Dodgers fans appreciate these type of games, because there are so many organizations that just wish for one of these games. Just one of these games every 20 years. Dodgers fans get to experience this all the time. I'm super grateful to be part of this fan base,
no doubt.
And have at least some knowledge and some connections within the organization. Let's do this. Let's go Dodgers. Let's beat the Padres tonight.
Let's do it, Coach. Hey, it's 1966 Texas Western against Kentucky. It's 1983 Lorenzo Charles and the NC State Wolfpack, right? It's Jim Valvano. It's all that, Coach. It is Coach Barakoff trying to win an NAIA national championship. Lay it on us.
Wow. Okay. Now, you know what? Here's what popped into my mind. I wish I could speak to the Dodgers. I know they'd really listen to me, but nobody who ever gave his best regretted it, and I think that's what the Dodgers are going to look at tonight. I think, Austin, you said it great. We're Dodger fans. We get to be as fans in these games all the time. I mean, I look back. You look at the White Sox and the Tigers and some of these teams that live at 5, 6, 7, 8 every other years, right? Dodgers are in this every year. And to have the feeling that we have tonight in this Game 5 of, man, this is a must-win, and, like, it's special. I think that's where me as the 50-year-old coach gets frustrated with our fan base. It's like, guys, do you understand how cool this is?
Yeah.
And, like, we've got a really special thing here. Win or lose tonight. My wife always says it's best. You're not believing tonight? You don't believe? We're down 2. You don't believe? Like, my talk to the Dodgers is, do it for the fans. Do it for you guys. Do it for the LA Dodgers, the history that comes with it. You're playing for what the history of this organization is. It's a winning organization. And I think there's something tonight. The Dodgers are going to go out on the field and they're going to bring in 81 and 88 in all those glories. Mickey Hatcher's going to pop out somewhere, and Kurt Gibson's going to walk out there. I know he threw out the first pitch the other night, but like Oral's there. You know, we got all these guys there. Koufax is there. There's something about me tonight that I think these Dodgers, they don't need a great pep talk. They need to say, listen, you're the Dodgers. Be the Dodgers tonight. And that's better than anything you can say. And I hope our fan base shows up. I have this odd feeling they're going to go crazy tonight. I don't think they're going to get there late. I think they're going to be there early, and they're going to stay late. They're going to do the opposite of what Dodger fans do. Casey, Austin, positive vibes. I'm going to have my tequila. I'm going to be with my wife, Stacy, my dog, Mookie Betts, and my Dodger dog, and my lab. So let's go, Dodgers. All you Dodger fans that tuned in tonight, positive vibes. Let's go, fellas.